How can you protect yourself from an attack by any dog? We will tell you about the very best methods of defense, and this knowledge could be useful to you in the future. According to statistics, about 4 million people worldwide are subjected to dog attacks every year. Quite often, we encounter entire packs of stray dogs on the street. Sometimes they look quite peaceful, but they can also attack a person. What makes this loyal friend and companion sometimes turn into a merciless enemy? We will talk about the causes of aggression and the best ways to protect yourself from these animals. To begin with, let's figure out why dogs attack and look at the most common reasons for attacks. According to most dog experts, one of the most common reasons for dogs attacking people is territorial defense. The fact is that dogs consider the place they live in to be their territory. This could be a courtyard or simply an area guarded by a dog on some property. Therefore, they consider a certain territory their own and often attack when you invade it. The next reason for an attack can be food. There have been numerous known cases of stray dogs attacking a person when they are carrying food. In this case, the dog's goal is simply to get sustenance for themselves. Another reason for an attack can be a virus infection. This is a classic case of a dog attack when it is infected with the rabies virus. Moreover, at first it may seem quite friendly, but then attack for no apparent reason. Another common cause of dog attacks is moving objects. Some dogs love to chase fast-moving objects, for example, cars, motorcycles, bicycles, and simply running people. Often, for them, this is a kind of entertainment that can frequently escalate into an attack. So how can you protect yourself from a dog attack? First, always avoid a confrontation. To avoid a confrontation, try not to look the dog in the eyes, as this is a signal for aggression. Do not show fear or anxiety in front of a hostile dog. Be confident and go on your way. Do not start running so as not to trigger the animal's hunting instinct to attack from behind and become easy prey. Try not to touch dogs, especially while they are eating or sleeping. If there is an angry dog in your path, do not shout at it or swing your arms at it. Always try to avoid conflict by walking around angry dogs. What should you do if a dog attacks you after all? Most people immediately feel the urge to run away. But this is useless, as a dog runs faster than a person. And if you are in an open space, it will be even harder to reach shelter. Running makes sense only if you are guaranteed to be out of the dog's reach. That is, you can climb a bushy tree, take cover in a building entrance, and so on. If you can't hide and the dog is very close, then prepare to defend yourself, and most importantly, do not panic. Dog experts claim that a dog, as a rule, bites the object that is closest to it. Therefore, if you have a bag, clothing, or an umbrella in your hands, hold it out towards the dog, and it will certainly latch onto this object. While doing this, you must pull it towards yourself. Consequently, the dog will pull the object towards itself. Otherwise, the dog might let go of the object and switch to your leg, arm, and so on. Therefore, if the dog has latched onto an object, do not let it go. Take a step back so that it is under tension. Look around. Perhaps there is an object nearby that is suitable for defense. It could be stones, sticks, or rebar. If there is sand under your feet, you can safely take a handful of sand in one hand and throw it into the dog's eyes to disable it. A dog's most vulnerable spots are the tip of its nose, its eyes, the bridge of its nose, the back of its head, its paw joints, and its groin. It is recommended to strike these places with your fists or improvised tools in the event of a dog attack. Situations vary, and if it so happens that you've caught the dog by its leg, don't just hold it, break the leg to disable it. Otherwise, the dog will not let you go. Experts recommend grabbing the dog by its hind legs and lifting it off the ground, performing a so-called throw to the ground. Then, using your own body weight, pin it to the ground with your knees or elbows. Know that dogs don't know how to fight, so immobilizing the animal is a good method until someone can come to your aid. If a large dog attacks, the first thing to do is to protect your throat by tucking your chin to your chest and extending your arm forward. Then, with your other hand, grab it by the scruff of the neck, get on top of it, and apply a chokehold. This method requires a certain amount of agility and strength, but it's the only way you can save your life in a desperate situation. You can use clothing and cover the dog's muzzle as it approaches, and while it's dealing with your clothes, run to a place out of the dog's reach. If you have a bottle of water in your hands, splash it in its face. There are dogs that have a panic-like fear of water. You can throw your mobile phone, umbrella, bag, backpack, anything you can manage to pick up from the ground. There is a chance that by focusing on the closer target, the dog will leave you alone. As a rule, a dog's gaze is always directed at the place it intends to bite. Therefore, you can assess its trajectory, dodge, and kick it sharply with your foot. It should be noted that its pain threshold is significantly higher than a human, and it may continue to attack even after many light blows. Trained dogs and dogs of certain breeds are accustomed to pain, and it is very difficult to control them with pain. Therefore, you should always disable them mechanically, as we've already mentioned, by breaking a paw, neck, and so on. Sometimes, a dog's attack on a person ends immediately after the person shouts at it threateningly or simply shows it their teeth. Whatever the situation, you should know that every dog has indentations under its jaw on its neck, on both sides of the trachea. If you grab them with your thumb and forefinger and squeeze hard from both sides, the dog will let go. This will be very painful for it. It's better to find these pressure points on familiar dogs in advance because in an extreme situation, these points are difficult to find right away. Let's look at the most effective means of protection against dog attacks. Pepper spray. A pepper spray canister is the simplest, most effective, and most humane means of self-defense. The canister must be pepper-based, as other types like cherry-o-muca, tear gas, and so on are ineffective against dogs, so they should not be used. You need to aim the gas canister directly at the dog's nose. This is its most sensitive area. It can be used from a considerable distance from the dog. Upon contact, the pepper gas causes irritation of the mucous membranes of the eyes and in the animal's mouth, and also disrupts its breathing. All of this will quickly stop the attack on you and disorient it, thereby giving you a buffer of time to get away from the attack. A slightly less effective, but often used, means of protection is the ultrasonic dog repeller. Unlike a gas canister, an ultrasonic dog repeller does not cause physical harm to animals and affects the entire pack at once. The ultrasound is inaudible to humans, but it has a depressive effect on dogs, and they try to get out of your way. Some repellers use ultrasound and flashes of light. The massive impact of ultrasound and light flashes stuns the animal and produces a stopping effect. The effective range varies from 5 to 20 meters. Thus, you can disperse dogs from your path from a distance without risking being bitten. The next means of protection against dog attacks can be a stun gun. A stun gun is not suitable for everyone and not for all situations. Unlike an ultrasonic repeller, you wouldn't give a stun gun to a child for school. Nevertheless, people also use it successfully for protection against dogs. Dogs are very afraid of stun guns, but interestingly, the main reason for this fear is not so much the crackling of sparks as the smell of ozone, which is released during the discharge. This fear is genetically embedded in dogs. Ozone is triatomic oxygen, which is released during a thunderstorm, and the characteristic smell of this gas is instinctively perceived by animals as a danger signal. Combined with sparks and crack, the smell of ozone will make any dog want to run off and hide as quickly as possible. If the animal's aggression proves stronger than its instinct and the dog continues to attack, the weapon can be used in contact. A stun gun is very effective on dogs. An electric shock causes immediate muscle paralysis, and the dog will be immobilized. Consequently, there will be no further attack on you. The main places to apply an electric shock are the neck and chest. If a stun gun is used on the head area, the animal may die. Since there is a category of dogs with thick fur, it is recommended to buy a stun gun with contact probes from 3 to 5 centimeters long. Of the remaining means of protection, in terms of the effectiveness, one can choose the cayenne mixture. The cayenne mixture is a so-called combat powder. This powder got its name from the cayenne pepper in its composition, as it is the hottest pepper in the world. The cayenne mixture is actively used for self-defense not only against dogs, but also against bad people. The classic cayenne mixture consists of red or black ground pepper, as well as cheap tobacco finely ground into a powder in a 50-50 ratio. To increase the effective range, it is recommended to add a little perlite to the mixture. The prepared mixture is carried in small containers, which allows it to be used for its intended purpose instantly. When it gets on the muzzle, this dust settles perfectly on the mucous membranes of the nose, mouth, and eyes, and also causes a burn in the dog's respiratory tract with a cumulative effect. This disables it for a long time, regardless of its size and level of aggression. Other means of protection against dog attacks are less effective. For example, a knife is completely ineffective if you don't know how to handle it. A dog is an agile and fast animal, and its pain threshold is significantly higher than a human's, so it will continue to attack even after many minor wounds. Well, dear friends, now you know how to protect yourself from an attack by any dog. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and also subscribe to the channel and give it a like.